Hello, welcome to the Abington Veterans Muster. My name is Travis Partington. I'm a Marine Corps veteran and host of the Abington Veterans Muster. I serve on the Veterans Advisory Council and I live in Abington, Massachusetts. We're talking about muster. Where did that come from? What does that mean? And for those of you who may not know, it's mainly a military term. Musters means to come together, to convene, to gather, to be together. We're going to come together to do something, or hear something, or learn something. And thinking about it, as we go into the background of this first show, muster is also a command, a verb. You could say it like this: Abington Veterans, muster. So that's what we're doing right now. This shows an idea of Abington Director of Veteran Services, Adam Gunn, Kevin Tachi, the Director of Community Access Media for Abington, Massachusetts, and myself, and the Veterans Advisory Board. And we came together to find a way to get people in Abington to learn about the amazing veterans who served their country from this city, and also you, that's right, you, the Abington resident, who supports our veterans, whether it's giving to a veteran's cause, supporting a veteran's event, being there for the veterans parade, anything at all, whether you open your business up and allow veterans to have a discount, learn a skill, help out. This show is also for you, and we appreciate you. We want to tell you that right up front. We're here right now. I'm in studio. And you might be wondering, well, what's this going to be like? And it's going to be a show that's anywhere from 20 to 30 minutes long, once a month. And we're going to talk about things going on in Abington that applies to veterans. We're going to talk about people and hear their stories of how they served their country. What are they doing now? How was their experience here in Abington? And then maybe people who support veterans, people who do things in the city that helps veterans, we want to talk to you. And then we'll have the safety brief. Now, I don't know about you, if you serve the military, you know what I'm talking about. The safety brief is where, your grizzly old gunny got up and told you to be careful for the weekend. We're going to kind of close it down and tell you what's next and what you can do and how you can contact us. And we're going to close this section by saying, hey, thank you to Kevin Tachi and Community Access Media and Ian for helping us put this on. We couldn't do it without you. So now we're going to go into passing the word. Now, you may be wondering, what does that mean? Now, when I was in the Marine Corps, we'd stand in formation and, Gunnery Sergeant Botwell would get up and say, it's time to pass the word, Marines. And he'd sit there and, the lieutenant would come up and they'd salute and the lieutenant would give us the info, the details, what we're doing. But like any other military operation, I can't do this alone. I am pleased to announce that I have with me right now the Director of Abington Veterans Services, Adam Gunn, Chief Petty Officer, U.S. Navy retired, to help me with this. Adam, welcome to the Abington Veterans Muster.
Thank you, Travis. It's an honor to be here, and it's such an honor to have you and start this process, and it's an exciting new adventure. A couple of things I'd love to talk about right now that I'm most excited about is the Abington Saves Fund. The Saves Fund is supporting Abington veterans with emergency services. We received a grant last year for $50,000. We have approximately $40,000 left, and we are asking veterans and widows of veterans to reach out. If you meet the financial income requirements listed on the Abington Veterans Services website, if you're single and you make $66,000 or less, and you need support with food, transportation, or utilities, please apply. And if you're a veteran or a widow and you need help in any of those three areas, we have grants. You can apply for up to $1,400. We also have Chapter 115. If you're a veteran or widow in Massachusetts and you meet the income requirements again, if you're single, you have a maximum allowance of approximately $2,500. If you're married, It's $3,300, that's income per month. And then the asset limits, and this is investments and cash. If you're single and have approximately $8,400, and that's again cash in the bank or investments. If you're married, there's an asset limit of $16,600. So if you meet those requirements, Massachusetts will reimburse all your medical expenses. So Medicare B, D, any prescriptions or co-pays, the town reimburses all that back to you every single month. So it's an incredible program. We have a calculator on our website you can go and log on to and see if you qualify.
As the Veterans Service Officer for the town of Abington, that's just a scratching the surface of what you actually do. Like we're going to talk about some of the things that you do and some of the people that also have things going on, Adam. First up is the Abington VFW. Let me pull this up here. All kinds of stuff going on this month. The VFW meets the third Monday of every month at 6:30 p.m. and therefore people who've served overseas or got deployed.
Yes.
So if you're a veteran who served and you got deployed on a ship, you went to Korea, you went to Afghanistan, you went anywhere, you meet the base requirements to serve.
That's right.
One thing that veterans ask me is does my discharge status matter to join these organizations? Do we know that? Because sometimes I'm like, I don't remember being asked that for like the Marine Corps League and the DAV.
You must have an honorable discharge for this.
Okay, let's establish that. You have to have an honorable discharge, have to. But if you have an honorable discharge and you don't know what these organizations do, this is a good one to start with. Absolutely, it's in the city. Everybody knows where it is. It's right by the football field, by the Beaverbrook Elementary School. You can't miss it.
And we have three great organizations here in Abington. We have the Abington American Legion on Washington Street, right next to the All-War Memorial. The VFW meets there, as you said, on the third Monday of every month. And the Post 2, our Vietnam veterans, also meet there on the first Thursday of every month.
Yep. And Post 2 has a lot of stuff going on, and it's the Staff Sergeant Richard A. Fitz, chapter, and it's an honor and memory of Richard Fitz Sr., who was killed in Laos. So they are heavily involved. They have an event coming up in the last April. Every year, the last April is their memorial they do at the Abington All Wars Memorial in Abington, Massachusetts, on that Sunday, generally at 9 o'clock. And if you have never gone before, I would encourage you to mark that in your calendar. We'll be talking more about it. And you come together with people who served in a war that was not popular. They did not get the respect or support or adoration that I got when I got out, or other veterans got when they got out. They were largely cast aside. Just now with the PACT Act, if you were served and were affected by Agent Orange, you're fully covered. And it's just a way to come together and make sure that we never forget the legacy of these Vietnam-era veterans who served. So it's really exciting to see these three orgs represented, and there's got to be more, which is the best thing about the Abington Veterans Muster or Abington Veterans Muster. Come together and tell us what you have going on in Abington. We'd love to learn about it and support you and be there for other veterans. There's just a casino night coming up, right?
Yes, there is.
Right. It's $25 and they take you to the casino and you can have some fun and they feed you and bring you back. I mean, I spent $25 on a video game and didn't have that much fun.
The American Legion is also open 7 days a week right now. They open around at 2 o'clock and they close normally between 7 and 8 depending on the crowd.
Nice.
Inexpensive food, inexpensive drinks.
Hey, you know what? Give me food, give me drink. I don't drink, but
I don't either.
Well, I get my gallon of water in a day. I mean, you were in the Navy. I had Navy corpsmen tell me that, hey, clean socks. Marine, you got to have clean socks. Have a bottle of Motrin, preferably 1,000 milligram strength, and 1 gallon of water a day. 1 gallon. If you have those three things, you will live a long and prosperous and healthy life. So I try, Adam, every day to hit my gallon. It's a challenge, but that's what us veterans do. There's a challenge wherever we go. This is the exciting thing about doing this show and being able to talk about these things is you start to realize when you kind of pull back the curtain a little bit, there's a lot of people in Abington who love veterans. Like, it's not just talk, Adam. You know, and as the director of Abington Veterans Services, you must get to meet a lot of people that we're going to talk about.
You know, Abington is a special community, and it's an honor and it's very humbling to be a part of this community. It's a smaller community, but they really care about our veterans, from the businesses to the residents to the employees. We're just supported. There's so many organizations here, not just our veteran organizations that are our backbone in the office, but we have volunteers that just step up and they want to help. The Veterans Advisory Council that you're a part of, Travis, that help with all decisions and everything I do. All the ideas come from other people. It's just such an incredible community that anytime there's a need, all I need to do is look around and reach out, and people are just jumping at the opportunity to support veterans. And that's something special.
It's not just marketing speak. It is actually for real. If you want to know my story, when I first moved to Abington in 1999, I didn't know anybody and was told, hey, you know what, go down to the town hall and see the VSO there, the Veterans Service Officer. And I walk in, and it's this big, huge Italian guy with an Army uniform with enough stripes on his arm to make me like, oh, wow, I'm not in Kansas anymore.
Joe Colantonio.
Joe Colantonio,
legend.
Master Sergeant. And he's like, give me your DD-214. He looked at it, you know, and the DD-214 is like, tells a story of your service history, and everybody who gets out of the service has one. And you're told to bring it wherever you go when you get out. So he took it and read it, and then he said, you know, Lance Corporal, you're going to do this, 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 and this, and then report back to me in 2 weeks. I'm like, yes, Master Sergeant. I was out of the military. I didn't have to do that, but I mean, he said it, I did it. And it started this idea of, you know, he wanted me to get to know people in the community, understand what was out there, and, you know, I can credit him and a naval submariner. That's a different story for a different time, but him and a naval submariner for helping me get where I am today. So one of the reasons that we do this is a lot of us who get out of the military get help, we get support, and we want to give back to those who helped us. Let's see here. So we're passing the word. The word has been passed. And so what happens is, folks, the word's passed, and we're called to attention, and then we're dismissed. But don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. Because, you know, in this section, you know, we're going to have like people like yourself come in and talk to us about your military service, what you're doing now, how was your transition, you know, what do you think about the state of Veterans Affairs in Massachusetts, et cetera, et cetera. We're going to have people who own businesses, who have helped veterans, provided veterans jobs, training, or other programs that they want to do to support veterans here in the town of Abington. And it's just really good to see. Now, I'm not getting paid to do this. I don't get any extra attaboys or gold stars, but it is really humbling to see how Abington takes her veterans seriously. And that's one thing I want people to know, whether you're here in Abington or in, you know, Los Angeles, California, or Kalamazoo, Michigan, we support our veterans in this town. And it's amazing to see how engaged people are with veterans issues. That being said, this section is for you. Come in and talk with us, and let's learn from you and what you've done for veterans. Let's learn from your experience. Everybody's story is different, and there's tons of stories out there. And the reason I say this is, you know, fewer and fewer Americans serve in the military every year. We just, even compared to World War II and the Vietnam War, there's less of the American population serving now than at any time, even though we have a high operational tempo for service. So it's important to keep these stories alive. It's important to let people know how our experiences are. And it's only through sharing this information and this knowledge and wisdom that we can keep the next generation going and keep the older generation's legacy alive. So this section, you know, I'll have a cool little graphic, and I want to talk with you and understand where you came from and where you're going. So that's going to be this section right here. So we're fast forwarding through all that. I would interview Adam right now, but we're not going to do that.
No,
it's a later time. Yeah, I had to make a deal with Adam, and so I pushed the envelope as much as I'm going to. So that leads us to the safety brief. Now you might be wondering, like, wait a minute, why is he going to, close down or end the show with the word safety brief? Well, taking this back to the military, it doesn't matter what branch you served in. And the Coast Guard is a branch. Space Force, I'm not really sure about, but the Coast Guard definitely is a branch. But regardless of what branch you serve in, National Guard or whatever, every Friday or before every extended liberty time, a 72 or a 96, a 72 is a 3-day weekend, a 96 is a 4-day weekend. The platoon sergeant, the lieutenant, the CEO will get everybody up there and give them the safety brief. Sometimes these briefs are really detailed. You're not supposed to go to this part of town because, another unit got in trouble there. Or do not go to Tijuana. When I was in Hawk School, it was not, you're not going to Juarez. Do not cross the border. Some of them are really short and plain, some of them are really salty, but it goes something like this. Let me see if I get this right. At its core, here's what all safety briefs comprise of. Number one, do not add to the population. Okay, you got to take starting families seriously, ladies and gentlemen. And you have to tell people just like that. So do not add to the population. Number two, do not subtract from the population. I don't know about the Navy, Adam, but the Marines, we had all kinds of stuff we do that was, we'd almost get ourselves killed playing. We were playing so hard, and the lieutenant wanted us back at work Monday morning. So do not subtract from the population. And it says, don't drink and drive. Don't drive when you're tired. Don't do this. Don't do that. Do not subtract yourself from the population. We need you. Number three, stay out of the hospital. No problem here. Hospital doctors, needles, I'm done. Don't be in the newspaper, and more importantly, stay out of jail. Not a good place to be if your first sergeant comes looking for you. That's number three. And number four, if you do wind up in jail, establish dominance quickly. And you might be wondering, was I actually told that? Well, not necessarily in those words, but yeah, that was the basic message. You could boil it down to four distinct things. So the safety brief is just a fun, tongue-in-cheek way of closing this down, telling you what's coming up next, and encouraging you to watch and support us. So what's coming up next? What's coming up next is, next month we're going to be giving away Andy Biggio's book, Signed the Rifle. Andy Biggio came to Martin's.
He did.
And he had his rifle there, and it's a good story there, and he had his book there, and we're going to give away a signed copy next month.
Absolutely.
So you got to tune back next month to watch us. Speaking of Martins, we have Freddie and Jason and the third generation coming next month to talk with us. And they've got all kinds of interesting stories about the history of Abington, military people who've come through Abington, other kinds of stories of the Abington police showing up to support what he does. And Freddie, Adam, gave away a ton of breakfasts during COVID for veterans.
He's literally given away thousands of meals to veterans and first responders.
It's amazing.
It's incredible.
It's amazing. And Adam, people ask me all the time, well, how do we get veterans together? Do we have to have them, free beer? Do we do this? Do we do that? Do we have this big, complicated multimedia presentation? And I've said it before, Adam, and I will say it again. All you gotta do is feed us breakfast. That's it. I mean, the older veterans will get out of bed early as 4 o'clock to get a free breakfast. The younger guys are like, you don't have to cook breakfast? I'm in for that. The guys with families are like, you know what? I can get out of the house for a half hour. I'll come for free breakfast. Just give us breakfast. Feed us, and we can come and enjoy each other. So that's coming up next month. Lots of stories, lots of stuff going on there. And then we've got a real treat for you guys coming up for the month of Memorial Day. So it's right back here at the Abington Veterans Muster, or Abington Veterans Muster, right here on the Abington Cam. And closing this down, we want to thank the Abington Veterans Advisory Council for their support of you, Adam, and what we're doing here. Without them, we couldn't even think about doing this, and some of the things that have been accomplished in the last year. I want to thank the town of Abington, from 1999 to present. I can sit there and say without the support of people in this town, I wouldn't be where I am now. And, you know, I want to say thank you for that. I'd be remiss if we did not mention Mr. Kevin Tachi of Abington Cam and his, you know, director Ian, who set this all up and got this going. And, you know, Adam made me look better than I thought I could. I can't believe it. Like,
you clean up well, Travis.
It's something else. I mean, Kevin, he is a master artist. It's unbelievable. So closing this down, the word has been passed. The safety brief has been given. What's next? Well, connect with us. You can go to the Abington, Massachusetts website. I'll have the link there in the post where you can click on the link and go right there and connect with Adam and what he's doing. We're on Facebook on Abington Veterans Services and Instagram, Abington Veterans Services. And you're going to want to stay clued in because there's going to be things talked about here that you won't hear about anywhere else. And you want to share this with people that you know who live in Abington, who may be serving the military right now. We want to connect with those people. So connect, like, share, and talk about what you see here and give us ideas. We're going to have an email address eventually where you can come, you know, write an email to Adam and myself saying, hey, I want to talk about this, and you know, we'll do that. Maybe that's what we'll do, Adam.
I'd love to hear about.
We'll have like a letter reading section part of the show where we read like letters like we were in the military. I know when I was in boot camp, you know, I got letters, and when I was in, you know, Yuma, I got letters, and it was always good reading those.
Going, you know, one of the things I'd love to just kind of talk about before we finish off is just to kind of talk to everybody. And if you are struggling, if you're a veteran or a widow in Abington and you're struggling financially, you've got some situations going on that you're having difficulty controlling, please reach out. We've got resources in a community that supports. We have financial support, we have organizations, and just people who care here in Abington. So if you're struggling, please don't struggle alone. If you're interested in getting involved with the Veterans Advisory Council, we have volunteers that come to our office on a weekly basis and help support this community better than we can. Please reach out and don't suffer alone. Thank you.
Absolutely, absolutely. There is no reason to struggle alone. You didn't fight alone. You didn't serve alone. You can go faster by yourself, but you can go further with a team, and we're a team here in Abington. So with that being said, I want to thank you again for checking out the Abington Veterans Muster. We appreciate your support. And now I can say, dismissed!